Police would discover the remains of Jassy Correia in a suitcase inside Coleman's trunk.
The security footage captures a young woman, Jassy Correia, just 23 years old. Moments before, she was in the heart of the city's nightlife, dancing and laughing with friends. Yet somehow, she ends up in an unknown apartment building. How did she go from the safety of her friends having a fun night out to this unsettling location? What we do know is that this footage is the last time Jassy is ever seen alive. From here, things take a dark, twisted, and unexpected turn. A man without a criminal past, a string of suspicious purchases, and a horrifying discovery. These are the elements that will soon come into play. This isn't just a story about Jesse's tragic end. It's about a community rocked by loss, a family grappling with grief, and a pursuit of justice against a killer who showed no remorse. As we delve deeper into what happened to Jassy, remember, every piece of evidence, every tear shed, every revelation in the courtroom brings us closer to understanding what happened on that fateful night. Jassy had been celebrating her 23rd birthday in Boston, a city she called home. Born and raised there, Jassy had her share of problems, including a violent past with a man named Miguel Castro. But she also had her passions, dancing and photography, two things that allowed her to express herself freely. Above all else, Jassy cherished her moments with her daughter Gabriella, who was her world. At the time of her disappearance, Jassy was working as a waitress at Del Frisco's Steakhouse restaurant in Boston. On the night of her disappearance, Jassy was celebrating her 23rd birthday at Venue, a vibrant nightclub nestled in the heart of Boston's theater district. The evening was filled with joy and laughter, the air thick with the pulsating rhythm of music and the clinking of champagne glasses. As friends swirled around her on the dance floor, Jassy was the picture of happiness. But as the club's lights dimmed and the night drew to a close, her friends, one after another, began to leave. Jassy was left alone, marking the last time she would be seen alive. The morning after, in attempts to contact Jassy seemed to go nowhere. Her phone, usually buzzing with life, went straight to voicemail. Concern turned into panic, and her father, Joaquin Correia, reported her mysterious disappearance to the police. From that point, Boston PD launched a full-scale investigation. Flyers bearing Jesse's face were distributed across the city. Interviews were conducted with Jesse's friends, each one hoping to shed light on what could have happened to their beloved friend. As the city of Boston woke up to the news of Jesse's disappearance, the police were already knee-deep in their investigation. Every piece of evidence was scrutinized and every lead was pursued. The investigators combed through hours of CCTV footage from the nightclub and the surrounding streets. Witness accounts were analyzed, each one painting a picture of the night Jassy disappeared, yet the puzzle remained unsolved. And as the days turned into weeks, the search for Jassy continued, her story echoing throughout the streets of Boston and appearing on every nightly news broadcast. Enter Louis Coleman, a 32-year-old man with no known criminal history, a man from a well-regarded family, seemingly leading an ordinary life. Coleman had a master's degree in physics. He was educated and accomplished. His roots were in California, where his family resided. But it was not his achievements that drew attention. Rather, it was his mother's red 2016 Buick, the very car seen on the CCTV footage on the night of Jesse's disappearance. In this ordinary man, police found an extraordinary suspect. Chilling CCTV footage captured a moment when Jassy left the Venue nightclub that fateful evening, venturing into the unknown with a stranger. Perhaps in an attempt to lighten the mood, or maybe due to her youthful and playful nature, Jassy was seen climbing onto the man's back before they disappeared into the night. And just like that, Jassy was gone, never to be seen alive again. In the wake of the kidnapping, the city held its breath and the police force was left grappling with the pieces. A single thread of evidence, the mysterious man caught on CCTV footage, became their lifeline to try and find Jassy. But then, a startling breakthrough came. The face that taunted the city's police had a name: Louis Coleman. An unassuming 32-year-old man with no past run-ins with the law is now the prime suspect in a chilling abduction. The trail led to Providence, Rhode Island, to an empty house that echoed with unanswered questions. Coleman's residence was deserted, a ghostly shell that offered no trace of Jassy. The sting of reality bit hard, as surveillance cameras from Coleman's apartment complex painted a grim picture. Jassy was nowhere to be seen. The fears of investigators and the family's worst nightmares were becoming a stark, cold reality. As the investigation deepened, a timeline began to emerge. The distance between the nightclub and Coleman's apartment suggested he may have made a stop along the way, but where and why? Adding to the mystery was an email, a hastily written note written by Coleman to his friends about weekend plans in Washington, D.C., and telling his boss he'd be out sick for a bit longer. An ordinary message under normal circumstances, but now a chilling clue. The following 2 days became a puzzle, each piece a fragment of Coleman's actions. Investigators combed through every detail, hoping to find the thread that would lead them back to Jassy. As the investigation progressed, a series of chilling CCTV footage was unearthed. Each frame, each pixel, painted a haunting image of the tragic events following Jesse's encounter with Coleman. Special Agent Thomas Zukowicz presented a key piece of footage, a chilling scene that sent shivers down the spines. It showed Coleman carrying a motionless figure believed to have been Jassy into his apartment building, a silent admission to a horrifying act. As the sinister plot unfolded, Coleman's desperate attempts to cover up his crime came to light. He was seen buying a collection of incriminating items from Walmart: Tyvek suits, duct tape, candles, electrical tape, a mask, surgical gloves, safety goggles, a respirator, bleach, and more. His return to the store was marked by an equally chilling purchase: a large suitcase and a canister. Tools that would later prove instrumental in his horrifying plan. The most damning piece of evidence was a CCTV footage. The video shows Coleman wheeling a heavy suitcase towards his car. He was visibly struggling as he loaded a heavy suitcase into his car. A chilling visual of the gravity of his crimes. A chilling confirmation came from U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Andrew Lelling. Jassy had not left Coleman's apartment since the morning of February 24th. As investigators searched Coleman's apartment and a nearby dumpster, they unearthed a horrifying stash of incriminating items. Each piece tells a part of the story of the sinister plot that had unfolded within those walls. The case took an even more sinister turn days after the murder. A dashcam video captured the moment troopers in Delaware arrested Lewis Coleman on the afternoon of February 28, 2019. The officers' voices crackled through the speakers. "Just put your hands on the window. Open the door with your left hand." In a turn of events that would shake the community to its core, police discovered the remains of Jassy Correia in a suitcase inside Coleman's trunk. The same suitcase prosecutors pointed out that he had purchased just a day before at a Rhode Island Walmart. The aftermath was as grim as the crime itself. A forensic examination revealed that Jassy had suffered strangulation and blunt force trauma. Jesse's 2-year-old daughter was left without her mother. Her loss is a heart-wrenching reminder of the human cost of this tragic event. The public's reaction to the tragedy was a mixture of grief, anger, and debate. While some questioned Jesse's decision to be out alone at night, others argued that the focus should not be on victim blaming, but rather on addressing violence against women. The trial of Lewis Coleman was a high-stakes battle for justice. The grave charges he faced included kidnapping, resulting in death. Prosecutors made the decision not to seek the death penalty, a move that stirred controversy and debate. The evidence presented by the prosecution was compelling and disturbing. This included a chilling video of Coleman dragging Jesse's body into his apartment, and unsettling records of his online browser search history following her abduction. Despite the weight of the evidence, the defense team challenged its relevance to the kidnapping charge, a legal maneuver that add another layer of complexity to the already charged trial. The trial revealed a complex story, painting a picture of the events leading up to Jesse's tragic demise. The evidence established that Coleman was present in the same nightclub as Jessie and her friends, but he wasn't interacting with Jessie. His attention was focused on another woman at the time. However, the night took a grim turn. Prosecutors argued that Coleman misled Jessie into believing he would drive her to her friend's apartment, a deception that would ultimately lead to her death. The defense team presented a different perspective of the tragic night. They portrayed Jessie not as a victim, but as an aggressor, suggesting that an impromptu fight between her and Coleman led to the fatal altercation. To further support their argument, they introduced toxicology reports. They revealed the presence of alcohol and prohibited substances in Jessie's system, elements they hoped would cast down the prosecution's claims. In June of 2022, after a tense and highly publicized trial, the jury delivered their verdict. Lewis Coleman was found guilty of the chilling charge, kidnapping resulting in death. Then in October of 2022, the final chapter of this tragic saga was written. 36-year-old Lewis Coleman was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. In addition to his sentence, Coleman was ordered to pay around $660,000 in compensation to Jessie's family, a monetary acknowledgement that can never truly compensate for their loss. Jassy Correia's brother shared his feelings on the day of the verdict for her killer, Coleman. He condemned Coleman's actions as disgusting, questioning why Coleman committed such a heinous act. He expressed satisfaction with Coleman's life sentence, trusting that the government would ensure justice was done. However, he reiterated that this victory, while important, could not bring Jessie back. Nothing could fill the void left by Jessie's death. In the days following the verdict, First Assistant U.S. Attorney Joshua Levy made a moving statement. He called to light the irreversible harm and suffering inflicted by Coleman. But even in the aftermath of the trial, one lingering question remains unanswered. What were Coleman's intentions with Jessie's body? Where was he going when he was stopped by the police? In the wake of the trial, the community gathered at St. Peter's Parish in Dorchester to bid a solemn farewell to Jessie. Throughout the somber ceremony, there was a blend of deep sorrow and quiet acceptance. The funeral reached its peak with the heartfelt words of Jessie's cousin, Michaela de Andrade. Among those present was Boston Mayor Marty Walsh, his attendance at the service echoing the city's collective mourning and highlighting the far-reaching impact of this tragedy. Jessie's father, Joaquin Correia, also took the podium, expressing gratitude for the overwhelming support from the city and the tireless efforts of law enforcement. Perhaps the most moving presence was that of Jessie's mother, who had not seen her daughter in 20 years and had traveled from Portugal for the service. Her journey embodies the far-reaching impact of the tragedy. As the service drew to a close, the community's presence and solidarity served as a powerful reminder of Jessie's life. The collective mourning was a stark testament to a life taken too soon.
Know the right thing you have to do in life. You can't take nobody's life like this.
Joaquin Correia's final tribute to his daughter was filled with both sorrow and love, a heartfelt reminder of the human cost of such tragedy. Her loss is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of community vigilance. It's a call to action for all of us to look out for one another, to be vigilant and aware. This is a story that will forever be etched in the hearts of those who knew Jessie and those who followed her story.